Saludos and welcome to No More Chichos. It's been a minute, so let's jump right in it. If you're new to the channel, thanks for joining, and if you're not new to the channel, thanks for coming back. Today we're going to be continuing our series, Cocinera to Jefa de la Cocina, and what we're going to be talking about today is the pantry. The pantry is like your toolbox. It has all the essential equipment that you need to put a meal on the table. And while it is cool to have the best tools in your toolbox and all that jazz, just having the basics and the essential is really important because it sets up the foundation for easy cooking, and also it comes really helpful when you're preparing meals in a dash or you're running late or any of these other scenarios that happen when you're at home. So what I'm gonna do now is go through my pantry and show you some of the things that I have. In the description box below, I'll have a link so that you can download your pantry essentials checklist so that you can refer to this in your own home. So when I'm talking about the pantry, I'm talking about everything that's in your kitchen that holds food. I live in an apartment, so I don't really have a pantry space, but I use my cupboards and my fridge and other parts of the apartment to store all the things that I need to cook. So I'm gonna give you a walkthrough of some of the things that I keep in my pantry now. When it comes to beans, I like to keep a few dried beans on hand at all times. Some of my favorites are these pink beans, Roman beans, and lentils. Lentils are a lifesaver because you can throw them in pretty much any dish and round out your meal. And then another thing I like about lentils is that they cook quickly. Other beans that I like to keep sometimes dry are chickpeas and black beans. These are really good because you can throw them into salads or make soups with them. Grains, some of my favorite grains that I like to keep in stock are shown here. Starting with rice, I love to have some brown rice, white rice, basmati rice, and rice to make risotto. This is called arborio rice. I'll check that in a second. And I like to have a variety of grains because it's important to get a mix of nutrients from all different kinds of grains. This grain, I'm not sure what it is. I picked it up at one of my fresh food boxes. If you know what this is, please leave a comment below. And another grain that I like to keep is bulgur. This is a quick cooking grain, and all it needs is some warm water, and what it does is that it absorbs the water, and then you can throw it into things like salads. You can eat it alongside different kinds of proteins. It's one of my favorite grains to keep in the kitchen because it's a time saver. Now we move on to some of our ground up grains, aka flours. I like to keep both all-purpose flour and whole wheat flour because some recipes will call for both, or I like to do some experimenting to see how much whole wheat flour I need as opposed to all-purpose flour, whatever. I like to experiment in the kitchen, and I just like to have both. I have some cornmeal. This is really good to have to make cornbread, obviously corn muffins, but it's also great as a thickener in things like chili or other heavy sauces. It gives it like a nice flavor and helps to thicken your sauce, your dish, whatever it is. This is also a corn flour, and this is used to make things like tortillas, pupusas. Another thing is cornstarch. Similarly to the cornmeal, cornstarch can also be used as a thickener for your sauce. Look, it says it right there. These are the two that I have right now, and other pastas that I like to keep in hand are like rotini or the little bow tie ones. Anything that has like really big texture, I like to keep on hand. So these are pretty much all the sugars I like to keep. I am missing dark brown sugar, but it's okay. I haven't really needed to use that in a minute. When it comes to salt, I pretty much just keep these two on hand. Kosher salt for almost all my salt needs, and sea salt when I want something a little bit more punch. Nuts. Nuts are really good for snacking, also for baking, and for if you're into making your own nut milk, you can also use nuts to do. And as far as baking goes, obviously you need your Power Duo. So here's all my canned foods. Canned is really important because they have a longer shelf life, so you can keep them in your kitchen for quite some time and use them as a filler or backup, or if you having gone to the supermarket, you can pretty much see what you have in your canned portion of your toolbox and whip something up together. So we're gonna see why I enjoy having some of these in our kitchen right now. Seafood. I like to keep a mix of different kinds of seafood in the house. Right now though, we have salmon and tuna. Salmon is really good to throw into grains. You can make also salmon patties with the canned seafood. I like to have our anchovies for dressings, as well as sardines, but we don't really eat it too much. Sardines that you can pair with rice, a nice easy thing. Here we have our canned tomatoes in different versions. Tomato sauce, obviously for pastas and different dishes. Canned tomatoes for also different pasta dishes. I like to also throw these in with grains to make like a tomato and rice type of thing, which is quick. You don't have to chop any tomatoes. This is also good for chilies. Very helpful. Tomato paste is concentrated tomato that you can use to build the base of flavor for your sauces. Also in cooking rice like moro. Very important thing to have in your toolbox. Here we have some canned beans. Like I said earlier, I like to have some dried beans, but I also like to keep some in canned version for quick whipping things up together. These two specifically, love to throw them in salads. You can also make quesadillas with black beans or any kind of beans. Soups are also really easy. Since they're already cooked, all you have to do is bring them up to temperature and put your own flavors in them. Very important to have canned beans in your arsenal. So that's pretty much it when it comes to pantry staples. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a like, comment, and subscribe. And don't forget to download your own pantry staples list in the comments below. If you'd like to see my pantry staples for the fridge and the freezer, let me know in the comments. I'll be happy to make another video. Otherwise, thanks for tuning in.